Hello, welcome to Likkutei Torah, Daf Ches, starting with the beer and the pasuk Gdol Yom Israel, Haftarah and Parshas Bamidbar. Zohar comments on a pasuk related to this pasuk in Hosea. He brings a pasuk in Zechariah, Yom Echad Hu Yivada, Loi Yom V'Loi Loila, that there won't be day and there won't be night. It'll be one day, one big day. So the Sefer Dovid explains that Yom, daytime, is connected to Zah, and Laila is connected to Nukva, to Malchus. Lasted Lavai will have this revelation of Arach Anpin, and which is Chetzinis of Keser, and that is based on the pasuk in Tehillim, La Yom V'Loi Laila, V'Haya Le'is Erev Yeh Or, Delilah Kiyam Yar, that the night will be illuminated like the day. Now, the inyan is that Hayom, the whole idea of daytime and nighttime really becoming one united inyan of illuminated day, is not only represented by time, by physical time, but also within a person's neshama. An expression here is in the person's heart, that the two hearts, we say that lebebach, that a person has two hearts. What are the two hearts of a person, of a neshama, of the nefesh, is the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara. And these, the whole idea is that spiritually, Yetzer Hara is like night. So therefore, when the Yetzer Hara becomes day, meaning that it becomes transformed, that the negativity becomes pushed away, then the Yetzer Hara becomes good, like the Yetzer Tov again, so it all becomes one. And that's the whole inyan of a lot of what's explained in Chozeret on the pasuk Viidעת היום, לבבך כי הוויה הוא אלוקים, that any concealment of the Yetzer Hara, which is, or any concealment of the world, which is Elokim, will be removed, and we'll just have Shem Havaya illuminating, which is all the achdus of Hashem, which is this unity of Shem Havaya with Shem Elokim. And that's the inyan of v'heshivesa el levavecha, that this unity of these two hearts of Yetzer Hara becoming batal to the Yetzer Tov, and have this hamshacha, they'll have the left being included within the right. And this is the whole inyan that we actually mention the nighttime during the daytime Birchas Krishma, and we mentioned the daytime during the nighttime Krishma, Birchas Krishma. So the example of that in the daytime Krishma, we'd say Yetzer Ar Uvayir Chayshech, and the nighttime Krishma, say Hamavir Yoim Umevi Laila. So the whole idea is that we have this achdus of Yom and Laila becoming one. And this is specifically through the Yisur Sata, this idea of planting, that when we do in Galus, during the nighttime of Galus, battling our Yetzer Hara, that we'll have this sprouting, so to speak, of the Geula, Lasilavo, of this revelation, this Gilui Varach Anpin, which is the inyan of Rav Chesed, which is not shaykh day or night at all, just like we have in Zera Anpin and Nukva, that we have this inyan shaykh, this level of simsim won't be shaykh anymore, because we'll just have this achdus of Zun and Nukva as one inyan, biyachad, together. And all this is connected in the parentheses, very fascinating explanation about how this is all connected to Shabbos and to Shavuos. Because on Shabbos, we learn out the 3 meals because it says Hayom 3 times in 3 different psukim, that that hayom, even by the nighttime Friday night meal, is also called hayom. So even though it's night, the whole idea is that since Shabbos is yom shekulei arich, and a time of spiritual light, it's a taste of geula. Therefore, then that even during the nighttime of Shabbos, we have this gilui of Hashem, of lasid level. And also in Shavuos, it explains why do we stay up all night on Shavuos, because the same inyan, because really the whole inyan of our avodah and galus is to illuminate the night, and that the night doesn't become stuck in darkness, but rather it becomes transformed. It becomes one with the day. It becomes one spiritual day. This all connects to the pasuk of our haftarah, that ki gadol yom Yisrael, that this means this gadol yom, this great day, represents the revelation of our Anpin. And just like the Shabbos and Geula is attributed to the idea of Yom Shekulei Araich, be a day of that's completely has this revelation of Arach Anpin. That's what it means, Yisrael. It means Yizra Kel, that the name of Hashem Kel will be planted through our tzedakah and chesed that we do now in Galus, which makes the kli to reveal the Rav Chesed, the name of Hashem Rav Chesed, the 13 Yigim Midas Rachmim, which is Kel Elyain Goyim Chasadim Tovim. Now, furthermore, we can say the explanation of this inyan of revealing the chasadim that were previously concealed, this chesed, that this idea happens on every spiritual level, going all the way up to the highest levels, even up to Adam Cahnman. And now, if one looks further in the Eitz Chaim, that the Yesod of Atik, which is enclosed in Arech, Pnimius Keser, enclosed into Chatzonius of Keser, is Mistayim also in the place of the Chaza of Arech Anpin. That the level of Yesod within Atik goes into the, so to speak, the chest. The Chaza is the chest of Arech Anpin, so I presume that means the midos within Arech Anpin, and then that goes through to the level of Yesod within Ima, which is Bina, down into the Chazeh of Zah. So that is the inyan of Sasim Begalia, of concealed and then revealed. It's a spiritual Seder Shtalshalos, so to speak, of level after level of going from the side of a higher level into the Chazeh of the lower level, which goes into the side of the next level, and so on and so forth. Now, Zah, we know that it is this process of Sas Megalia that we have in Galus is not complete in the sense that doesn't draw down the godly light at all into Zah. And if it's not mislabish into Zah, how much more so is it not going to be mislabish into Nukva? However, Lasid Lavai, when we have this level of the revealed world, this Almadis Galia, it'll be completely elevated to this level of Almadis Kasya in the most literal sense. So this physical world that we see in a revealed sense will be on the same plane as the concealed spiritual world. So too, that also above in Arach Anpin will have this same spiritual reality occurring. That will have this extremely high revelation from this level of Yesod within Atik, in the most literal sense, which explains the pasuk v'haya mispar b'nei Yisrael chule sher lo yimad v'lo yisafer, because lifnei achad ma'at hasefer. Now to finish this beer, we talk about the inyan of the parsa. The parsa makes it possible for that separates between Atzilus and Bria, that Bria is able to receive the light from Atzilus and above, and able to contemplate and comprehend how there is a parsa between Atzilus and Bria. It's something that we must understand more in depth. However, Lasilavo, it's written V'hai Mispar B'nei Yisrael, which is the Alma Disgalia, the revealed world, that from the Chazeh and below, from the chest and below, we'll have this level of Alma Disgalia, the concealed world, that from above the Parsa, we'll have this level, Lisvinasa Ein Mispar. And if that's the case, we'll have this revelation also down below, just like it was above. So to summarize to the best of my ability, the Alma Disgalia, the concealed world, will be revealed just like the Alma Disgalia, and all the milas of essentially less level. It seems like we'll have the mila of Alma Disgalia and combined with the mila of Alma Disgalia, in the sense that the parsa won't need to act as much of a separation in the negative, but it will be able to help reveal everything in the positive without any of the negative elements. And now I'm going to pass on the torch to Rabbi Shmerling, as he's going to go into next mimer, Ve'eras Tich Li Leilam.
In the face of Bamidbar, in Likkutei Torah, it's based on the pasuk "Ve'eras Tich Li Leilam, Ve'eras Tich Li B'tzedek," that you have been betrothed to me you are betrothed to me forever. You are betrothed to me with righteousness. So this is a pasuk about the relationship between Hashem and the Jewish people, that we are betrothed to Hashem. And the Jewish collective are called the Kala, and then like the Kala meaning the bride, but also Kala from the word like place and effort, to expire out of the love and excitement for Hashem, like the pasuk says, Kol Sanafi, that my soul expires for you. And this is like if Chava was told that your desire shall be to your husband, which in this case is the Jewish collective's desire to Hashem. And all the Knesset Yisrael wants, all the Jewish people want, is to cleave Hashem. And similarly, each individual yid is compared to a fire, because neshama is like a fire that wants to go up, and like a fire always wants to go up and become one with Hashem. But despite our desire, Hashem says, no, you've got to stay down here. And that's the like with the what Hashem told Chava, that your desire will be to him, but he will dominate, he'll rule you. Meaning that then, although the neshama wants to go up to Hashem, Hashem says, no, you've got to stay down here and make the world a better place. The mitzvahs within the world. There's Rotzi and Shuv. So Rotzi is yearning to go up, and then Shuv is saying that you've got to go down and have an impact in the physical and on the body. And therefore, the neshama is sent down into a body, and it's meant, and while there, it's yearning for Hashem, but still it's in the body and doing mitzvahs. Now, there are two levels of yearning for Hashem, which correspond to the two types of kala that the Gemara in Chassidus talks about, with the Sham and Beis Hillel. There's kala nava chasuda. There's the lovely sweet bride, and then there's the kala kamotahi. This is, what do you tell the bride? So he'll also say that you praise the kala at a wedding. Kala no chasura was. They come and say, you be honest, just say it as it is, describe it as he is. So that's the kala kamotahi. But even if he's lame and has problems and doesn't look good, to describe it that way. So similarly with the neshama, there's the beautiful neshama and the neshama with Idris. And to explain, so let's first look at interesting idea that Sefer says that ices, that letters are compared to stones, and then words are compared to houses or courtyards. So when we speak, so there's the content behind the speech, and then there's actual words. The content is like the lights, but then the words are like the stones, the bricks, and there are so many different levels and different worlds, different souls, different angels, and the difference between all of them is especially noticeable in the extraneous and the external, which is called the words as opposed to the content. And although there is already differences and details, even in high within the content, within the soul, the higher godly level, but it becomes more noticeable once it descends down, like it discusses in the Geras HaPerek in Tanya about when Hashem's light comes down into what we call Isis, the letters. So that's where we have actual world, whereas when it's a high level of godly light, before it comes down, so then we only have theoretical worlds, theoretical differences without actual concrete differences. This is like the difference between actual speech versus when one's thinking about what to say, but it's all in his mind. So then all the different words are more united together. Even if the level of speech, as it's all in the mind, is still considered the words and the keli, the vessel, compared to pure Ein Sof. Like it says that Kom Chachma Sisa, that even Chachma is considered Asiya compared to Ein Sof. And therefore, on one hand, it's considered Asiya. On the other hand, it's still considered godly, and that's because it's the sort of medium in between. But it's definitely not pure Ein Sof, pure unlimited godly light, when you already notice differences and definitions. Now, when a person speaks, so obviously the speech has less content in it than when he thinks, and the idea as it is in his head. But still, how do you get the content to someone else? It's only through speech. And therefore that speech, which is the lowest part within the person, first he has the power to think, and then he actually thinks, and then it descends down into speech. But that speech is the beginning of someone else understanding the idea over the page. So this also works in the same way spiritually. Originally, at the highest levels, there's only Hashem, and that's it. Ein Sof, Hashem's unlimited light, and that's it. Then it begins to form within it a source for details and for different beings, and then they actually become separate existences. So when it Hashem's unlimited light, is revealed within Isis, within words. So, and that allows for creation of worlds. So that is sort of a in between. On one hand, it's still got and Sefer within it. On the other hand, it already has definition and detail. And this is also called courtyard, which is sort of part of the, you go through the courtyard to get to the other side. Because on one hand, it's on one hand there's and Sefer, on the other hand there's all the different creations, and this courtyard is in between, and that's the letters that pass Hashem's content downward. And there's two courtyards. There's the outer courtyard and the inner courtyard. The outer courtyard is the source for worlds in general. And the inner courtyard represents the holy words, godly words, words of Torah and of davening, and the souls of tzaddikim. Thanks. So now that we said that the neshama is like different types of color, different types of brides, or different types of close and expiring with yearning for Hashem. So the first one is the pasuk kol sanafti l'chatzos Hashem, that my soul expires out of yearning for the courtyards of Hashem. So nafti, my soul, represents the Jewish collective, the source of our neshamas, which in terms of spheres is Malchus of Atzilus, the end of Atzilus, and it radiates and energizes the lower worlds of Biah. All the neshama wants is it yearns to go back up and be closer to Hashem. And when it comes down into the lower worlds of Biah, it wants to go straight back up to Hashem, just like a person loves himself, so the neshama loves and yearns for Hashem. And therefore, when he's in this world, he wants to at least cleave to the words of the Torah and davening, which those are the courtyards of Hashem, which are the ways to the paths back up to Hashem, and to bring Hashem down into the world. Now, there's a difference between courtyard and house. Both the courtyard and the house they're both something made of stones, made of bricks. But the difference is that the house also has a roof, whereas the courtyard only has walls and no roof. So what does this mean spiritually? You might have someone who's occupied with learning Torah and davening or holy pursuits, and he only not his mind involved, but not his full power of his thinking about it, but not the full intensity of full power of his thinking. And then his mind can veer off, and that's like the courtyard that doesn't have a roof, that you can veer off. Whereas when the solution is to be totally involved, totally focused, and that's like a house that has a roof, and then the mind won't veer off. And this is especially the case when one is learning the inner part of Torah and is involved in the meaning behind davening, and then it won't veer off. It will be like in a house. Now in Zohar it says that the Torah is Hashem's chambers, where Hashem is. And this refers especially to the Torah, the inner parts of Torah. But even if it is just the learning Torah at a basic level, pshat, the simple meaning, but still, when he's involved in that, then that's also called a house. That's called the house within the world of a CEO, because it's just basic, simple meaning. And then deeper meanings are called the house within a higher world. But either way, all of this is this space is talking about someone who is connected, who all he wants is Hashem. And that is like the first color, the color of Chassidut, the wonderful bride, Gimel. But then what about someone who's veered off, someone who you can call like the lame or blind color? And that's like we say, that the idols, they have eyes, but they don't see. And similarly, when the neshama cannot well up in yearning for Hashem, that's because it's stuck in the prison of the body. So the solution is then kala kamotili. The kala just as he is, without elaborate phrase. Because yes, even though the neshama may be lacking, it may be lame, it may be blind, but still that doesn't stop it from being a kala, from which we said that kala comes from the word yearning for Hashem. Because we realize that we can never understand Hashem is beyond us. All we can do is to realize that itself, that Hashem is beyond us, and he's beyond the fact that he fills worlds, beyond even the fact that he surrounds worlds, because even surrounding worlds implies some sort of connection, but Hashem is really beyond us completely. And we would only talk about Hashem giving to us and energizing us at a lower level, but Hashem for himself is beyond energizing us. And beyond talking about how Hashem relates to the world. Over to the fourth column. So when a person thinks about this deeply, so this will create a fire with passion to Hashem, and he'll pour out his soul to Hashem, and he just wants to please Hashem, the only real thing. So when a person thinks about this at depth, so then the spurness, the meditation is about how even Mamale and even Sefer, it's all Hashem is beyond filling the world, beyond even surrounding the world. Hashem is totally beyond. So therefore, because you're thinking about how Hashem is totally beyond, that because the spurness is about something so high and beyond, therefore it penetrates even to this person who is blemished spiritually, and the pasuk about the first type of kala calls it kol samnati, talks about the soul, whereas this pasuk, the pasuk about the second kala talks about livi of the sorry, my heart and my flesh, because although the person is lower here, but because through his spoken about how Hashem is totally beyond, that it can touch him even deeper within materialism and create a passion for Hashem even there. Now, in another mimer, it talks about how when the Yidden are like an akara, they're like a barren woman that can't give birth to love and reverence for Hashem. So then the solution is, like it says about Hannah, who didn't have children, but to spell Hannah al Hashem, that Hannah davens, he prayed al Hashem, literally on or beyond Hashem. The name Allah Hashem, the name used for Hashem here is Havaya Yud, and Hannah was reaching Hashem's essence beyond Yud. Now, this is the meaning of the second phrase in the pasuk. You are betrothed to me forever. Meaning, even in a time where godliness is not manifest, where there's no Beis Hamikdash, and we're in a state of fallen, such as David fell, the such of Dovid, which is falling. So we're not in a state where we're reliable and constantly have our ups and downs, and therefore you can't really say that it's la'olam, that it's la'olam, that we're betrothed forever. It's depend on the mood, depend on how we are. Whereas once Mashiach comes, then Hashem will firmly establish our relationship with that it will erect the falling sukkah of Dovid, that it will be permanent without any falling. Now this also explains why, on one hand, when we say a bracha before doing a mitzvah, we say who has sanctified us through his mitzvahs. But then on the other hand, we daven, sanctify us, please sanctify us through your mitzvahs. So on one hand, we're already sanctified, or like we translate here, we're already betrothed. The word kashenos means to be betrothed, but that betrothal has its ups and downs, and therefore we ask Hashem to betroth us in a way of permanence. Now, the concept of kedushin and minor giving our word is one concept. There's a passage that says it's Hashem Vidat Hayom, which could be translated as that you made us speak. So when we learn Torah, what we learn is with words. Now, words and hevel, the breath, has two opposites. On one hand, it has to come into specific word, which is lowering of Hashem's energy, spiritual energy, godly energy down to us. On the other hand, there's the before it comes into words, like you have the idea before it comes into words, and similarly you have the hevel, just the breath itself, which is not any specific word. So that's like the market, which like the godly energy which surrounds and is beyond, and this also is included within the idea of Marta, which here we're translating not like it translates in some places as the designated, that we're designated for Hashem, and Hashem is designated for us, but from the word speaking. That speak on one hand has specific words, and on the other hand is just the air itself, which is like the market. Now, final paragraph, וזהו. So, at the betrothal, a ring is given, and that ring which surrounds is like makif energy, the surrounding energy. And through that, the Knesset Yisrael become designated for Hashem, that their whole purpose is to bond with Hashem, just like through marriage, that then when a woman is betrothed, then she's forbidden to the whole world and just designated specifically as the wife of her husband. So similarly, through Torah, we become connected to Hashem to the exclusion of all else. But if he is learning, but without the intention, is like Hashem speaks. So then it's like where his friend might be speaking right in front of him, but he can't hear anything because here we're not focused on Hashem's speech and the words that are the Torah, which is Hashem's words, and then nothing will penetrate. So now we have to realize that Hashem is betrothing us, that and with Torah we're taking in Hashem's words. But there's also another part, which is the part of tzedakah, and therefore it says that I'll be betrothed to you with with the righteousness, which is tzedakah. So tzedakah is effective in redeeming our neshama, that it shouldn't be blind or lame spiritually over to baptize. And this is why Rebbe Lezer would give a coin to a poor man before davening. And this redeems us, like it says, that the captives are freed from physical or spiritual captivity through tzedakah. And then it says also that it's the tzedek and then uva mishpat, and with justice. So that is through getting rid of the bad and realizing the state where we are, that we've lowered, where we have an neshama, a holy soul, a part of something else, that we've lowered it all the way down. And then that Rahmanos, that feeling pity on our neshama, that helps us redeem it and fix it. And then the pasuk continues, "Ve'irasically be'amunah," with faith. So that refers to someone who he's not able to learn, and is also because he doesn't have the training or the intellect to learn Torah, and also is not able to give tzedakah because he doesn't have money. So still he has another path, be'amunah. Through the faith, that to deeply feel that everything is nothing compared to Hashem, and Hashem is beyond even being so calm and beyond even surrounding the world. So this is another path. This faith is another path to Erosin, to betrothal, but then afterwards we need to have Nisuin. Nisuin represents a deeper bonding. Like it says about Adam and Chava when they married, Adam Yodas Chava, that Adam truly knew Chava, and deeply knowing Hashem and connecting to Hashem. That is like the Nisuin, and therefore it says when Mashiach comes, we'll be married to Hashem. It says in Molar, it stays Hashem, that the whole earth will be full of knowledge of Hashem. That our whole, the thought, speech, and action will be focused on Hashem. And that's what our mind will be full of, and then it will be fulfilled what we daven for, the same that Hashem should give us our portion in Torah, that our specific portion, and will become completely one with Hashem. Okay, so basically in this mind we've talked about different ways to be betrothed to Hashem through a passionate Ahavas Hashem, and this through whether we sometimes our neshama is in a higher spiritual state, sometimes in a lower spiritual state, and then we have to have a different experience. We can't go to regular meditation, but we have to realize that everything that we could think of is all nothing but Hashem, even to fill worlds and surround worlds that happen. That also is not considered a quality compared to Hashem. And then about bonding through Torah, bonding through tzedakah, and bonding through